Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another episode of Tomb Raider. So we've got the first murder under our belt in the last episode, and in fact, pretty much after we murdered the first person, we then turned around and murdered, I'd say about 5 or 6 other people. So it went from like 1 to 100 real fast. Now they were all bad people. Just shoot arrows into the wall to distract.
Smaller group escaped to the lower forest.
Maybe we get a hunting party down there.
No, Father Matthias went himself. Told us to stay out.
What? Why?
I don't know. Maybe another girl for the ritual. We'll know more by tonight.
There's a bloodbath down there.
What?
You hear something? Hold on, I'll take a look.
So.
Huh? Oh, damn it! Get over here!
Oh no, I totally messed that up.
We got some fight, outsider.
Oh, this gun sucks. I totally screwed that up. Wow. So they are not joking around about wanting you to be stealthy.
Looks like a smaller group escaped to the lower forest.
Maybe we get a hunting party down there. What was that? Stay here. I'll check it out. Fuck, there's someone here.
Boy, was that a lot of arrows it took. Took a lot of arrows to get them, but you can pretty well see how that turned into a nightmare. Where they just set up and hunkered down. 20 experience for collecting these plants. Why are we getting experience for collecting the plants? They never really even explained that one to us. Get arrows, get bullets. I'm trying to look where the rest of them are. This is kind of an open world area, but it's really more of just a puzzle in the form of evading detection. You just are trying to not get into fights where there's tons of people shooting at you.
She's in here somewhere. Find her. Capture? Kill. Kill her! She's too much trouble. You two, check that side. Got it. What was that? Quiet, quiet!
I'm still not getting to that point I'm looking for. Stealth kills enemies by pressing Y when close.
Keep looking! She's gotta be here somewhere!
Gotta tap X too. Well, I'm glad you told me that.
No! Not a damn thing!
Whoa! Hey, watch it.
How far down does it go?
All the way to the sea caves.
Damn, maybe she fell.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, shit! Need some help!
There she is!
Let's see if we can get around her!
Okay, find her! Help! Need some fun!
guy was supposed to.
Move to the upper levels!
There he is! Get behind something! Get a burner out of there!
What the hell are you doing? You'll burn the whole place down!
This is not going well for me. Trying to get as much scrap as possible. It's probably not a big issue, but do want to try and upgrade everything as much. And then zipline. Models unlocked under extras. I guess at the end of the game we'll go back into the menu and look at all the things unlocked. It'd be kind of a waste of time to do it in between. And so we missed a lot. So before we leave this area, let's play thoroughly. It's not really super fun in the game. Of course I'll need a torch to light that. That won't be a problem. I can actually accomplish that one. Now, can't burn the barrels. It's a little strange that there are these wooden barrels. So up here is how do you turn off the torch? Hold the torch button down, hold B button down. Yeah. It's almost like there's some secret puzzle hidden in the fact of the wooden barrels. Like you're supposed to knock them down the river or something.
Silk fan. Could have been used by a villager or a noble, maybe.
Now we know that there's nothing more to investigate here, so it's just a silk fan. That's one thing that still amazes me every now and then. It's just the total amount of lack of air conditioning that used to exist in the world, and I'm sure I guess still does in a lot of places. And just how hot people must have been all the time. And then it makes even less sense as to why people were so overdressed most of the time. Ooh, 500
It's a
experience.
gunbai, used by samurai to relay orders to their soldiers in battle. Pretty solid. Must be made of stained cypress.
Oh, that would be interesting to know how that worked. I imagine it's probably like the nautical flag code. Interesting. You do get some interesting Japanese knowledge in here. Like, they almost certainly had a Japanese historian that worked with them at least a little bit in this game, so that they could really impart some useful, well, maybe not useful, but interesting stuff. In general though, I think starting in Egypt would have been better, or starting in Britain, since she's British, would make some sense. There we go. GPS caches. I think all of those would probably make a little bit more sense. Because as far as I know, there's no real Japanese connection. That's really where Sam comes in to the story, is that she's the Japanese relation to why this story even is taking part. Of course, there is that whole cool Japan thing. Everybody thinks that they're cool. Which, personally, I think is maybe even starting to fall out of favor a little bit. Most people still probably think it's pretty cool, but not as much as they used to. Not as much as, say, when Pokemon was big, and it's still huge, but when it first came out, that was something amazing. Alright, there's one more right here. Right around here. There we go.
When we washed up on this rock, the rain and wind pounded us for days. We couldn't build shelter or forage for food. Christ, we couldn't even move. It was like some enormous hand was holding us down. Just as the storm was finally breaking, Father Matthias came to us. He was calm and soft-spoken. He seemed to know us, our names, where we were from. He spoke to us in our native language, and we listened. And as we listened, he told us the truth of this island. He offered us a choice, salvation or death. Some chose to defy him, and without hesitation, he killed them then and there. Father Matthias didn't seem malicious or angry, just calm and decisive. As I stood there in the sand, wet with the blood of my comrades, I knew I could never refuse him.
So that's 1 of 5 confessions of a Solari. So you got this whole story of these people, and all of this is made up. Everything that happens on this island existing is made up. I don't even know if Yamatai really is a Japanese myth. But I would trust the artifacts, but particularly only the artifacts, as far as actually being somewhat accurate. I can, to my small knowledge, pretty much attest that I think they are accurate, but I know everything that happens in the story is made up as far as Father Matthias. Maybe Yamatai is a myth, but certainly there's no island or anything like that.
I can do this.
So again, the game just abandons me here. It shows me a cutscene, and it just expects me to know that I'm supposed to actually interact and press up. Now I'm pressing up. Would this work? Look at her feet. Her back foot in particular. Is that really pushing off on anything? Camera change. I would hate rock climbing. That's why I've never done it. I have a pretty good skill in knowing things I would hate before I've done it. It's kept me out of doing a lot of things, but it's also saved me probably a lot of frustration.
Roth, I'm coming! Thank God you're alive.
God's got nothing to do with it. It's good to see you two go.
sorry, they did a real number on your leg.
No, looks worse than it is.
Have you heard from any of the others?
Nothing.
Wait, what are you doing?
The wolves took my food pack. The transmitter from the lifeboat's in it. If we don't get that back, we're not getting off this bloody island.
You need bandages, morphine, antiseptic.
Also in the pack.
Shit.
Exactly. Come here. Come on. Oh.
Oh no. No! Oh, don't do this to me, you northern bastard.
That's the British for you. If they're insulting you to your face, they like you. If they are being nice to you and calling you mate, they're about to beat you up.
Thank God he's still alive.
Looking at that leg, that's a legitimate reason why you wouldn't follow us along in the game. And the wolves attacking him makes more sense. It unfortunately destroys the thought that that she was hallucinating all of her friends being alive, unless you just assume that was all a hallucination.
Oh God, what am I doing?
The pack's up there somewhere.
So it's kind of weird that we went from one sort of open area to another sort of open area, and now we are in this whole region. Like, I don't think we can just walk backwards and get to where we were. Yeah, it almost feels like they didn't have enough RAM to have a bigger area. And that's something definitely in The Witcher 3 that's not the case. Witcher 3 is a huge area that you never see any loading scenes or anything unless you fast travel. Bird just flying all around. So are we going to just fight wolves? Fire required to ignite that. I think there is a achievement or something for lighting all of these. I could maybe shoot that, but I don't think this would probably. Oops. Nope, it's metal, so that means it's not going to ever fall down. It's a pretty big area, a lot bigger than any of the other areas we've seen. You don't run into a lot of these. You can find ways up. If we get up to 400, that would be nice. If we had 400 salvage. I don't think I'm ever gonna get the phrase salvage and scrap organized in my head, because I played basically 2 games back to back, one of which it was called scrap, one of which it was called salvage, and by the time I was done with those 2 games,
These ruins, Kamakura period.
I never figured
Was all
it
this
out.
part of Yamatai?
A little spoilerish, but these walls can't be destroyed until you have a shotgun much later in the game. And similarly, you can't open these doors until later in the game. So there's a lot here that's being shown as it will be important in the future. So we're gonna definitely have to come back to this area. GPS cache. Might as well just take this with us. If you can get away with it, use and have. Well, that put the whole thing out. Put the flame out. I like that her torch doesn't get in her way. She can climb, do two-handed items while carrying the torch. It's a little silly that you wouldn't be able to do that, but you actually aren't able to do that in Witcher 3. You can't, if you're holding a torch, you can't do a two-handed attack with your sword. Another area that we will need an upgrade to be able to climb. So you have to do that once, but it's slid now so that it will be easier if you ever need to traverse that area again. That's nice. Come on. Now when you do the two-handed, that makes sense that your bow would disappear. We can hear the transmitter going off in here.
Here it goes.
And as you walk by certain things, you get your torch right back out, which is great. I wish The Witcher 3 had done that. There was a lot of dark places that would have helped. It really would have helped if you automatically got your torch. And remember, look at all these bones. There's more bones.
I just want the pack. That's all.
Like deers.
Got it. Okay. Got to get this back to Roth.
And they're all human bones. Stab them a lot. Of course, that's really a lot more work to kill that wolf than it would have been to kill any of the other ones I've run into. This is probably the first point where you should run into wolves. If you think about it, that should have been your introduction to wolves, and and from that introduction, you'd start fighting them, and they'd be a lot less of a problem. We're working our way down. And I think you can swing on these. There we go. Get another GPS cache while we're here. Jump down and make it back to camp.
Right. Let's get you patched up.
And if we really knew who Roth is, or if it had spent any time with him whatsoever, him dying or even being hurt here would have been pretty impactful. It is a bit of a spoiler, but you can pretty much figure that she is the only one that is going to make it off this island alive. And everybody else is just cannon fodder for the Ryder.
Not bad. Where does a young lady like you learn to do a thing like that?
Late shift at the 9 Bells. Wolf's got nothing on a broken bottle.
Hey, you got it. Nice work.
So I assume the plan is to take that up to the radio tower.
Well, it should give us the best shot at broadcasting a strong signal in every direction. Look, Lana, we need to send out that SOS. And I'm not climbing anytime soon.
Yeah, I was afraid you were going to say that.
You can do it, Laura. After all, you're a Croft.
I don't think I'm that kind of Croft.
Sure you are. You just don't know it yet.
Well, let's hope I'm a fast learner then.
Just be careful, Laura.
So now we've got the climbing
give
axe.
that axe a go on the rock wall over there first.
You climb the craggy wall. There. It really does feel like this could have been the beginning of the game. Introduced to wolves from here, given your first climbing axe from this point. But I imagine they felt the need, or they had the footage and the game levels already done, so that they made it a lot. They made the intro that we did see up to this point, throw that in there too. It feels like if they had edited this game a lot of different ways, it would have definitely come out differently.
Thank God for us training. All those treks, all those climbs. It's as if he'd been preparing me for something like this all along. It's clear that there are people living here, and they're organized. They're killing and recruiting. But why? It's like some kind of cult. But a cult of what? What do they want? What are they looking for?
So we've got one more skill we can upgrade. And let's see. Thoroughly search crates and find extra salvage. Carefully looting animal corpses will reward you with extra salvage. Or we could do this if it wasn't locked. I think we may already have it. Interesting. So we will be going through a lot of crates. It's probably crates you want to do. The only other things we could do would be steady shot and ammo capacity, which the guns need to get more upgraded before that would be helpful. So we need more salvage to upgrade the guns. So that's what we're going to master. Getting a little bit more salvage. I think that's the right way. I think we'll probably end up getting as many things as possible. And we can upgrade things. So we have the bow now, which could be a faster firing rate for the bow. Might be helpful. Or increased damage for the gun. Accuracy, rapid fire mode. This is still upgraded, even though we are. And then outfits. We'll put on a different outfit, the gorilla outfit. Would be funny if she's actually wearing a gorilla suit, like the animal. Let's do more damage with the gun. That makes sense. We could fast travel. Alright. So this is full-on mercenary, bulletproof vest that I'm sure doesn't really help you take on any damage or anything like that. That would be a pretty unfair thing. And then in this area we found a couple things, but we don't have the map. So our next goal is to reach the top of the falls, and we'll do that by climbing, and I guess we'll show it. Basically,
I can climb this.
you press X, and when you jump towards the wall, and from there you have a new way of transversal. Now you don't see this type of extra transversal happen in games very often. I haven't really seen it in any other games where it would be pretty difficult to get up, where we'd have to jump around and walk around. And now we can just walk up to this, and you still have to jump and then hit X. Well, you can try and hit X right next to it. That works too. I didn't know that. It might have been better if they had started the game right around this section. Get introduced to wolves, then dealt with the wolves. The whole thing of her having to kill somebody, her first kill, should come a lot later in the story. The whole thing of her getting stabbed in the side makes no point or no difference right now. And her getting shot in the arm makes no real difference. You'll notice that when she patched up her friend, she patched up her arm too. But it just keeps coming. On top of the brutal murder scenes that happen every time you lose, storyline gets hurt a lot. And it's too much, really. I don't know what they were thinking. They probably had a general concept of this being a difficult journey, and the only way they could figure out to make it a difficult journey was to make it physically difficult instead of making it truly emotionally difficult, because they really fail on that part. So, I think in the story pretty much all the way throughout. Anyways, that's as good of a point as any to end this episode. So as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps me out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it and make a donation. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media site, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.